everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my August wrap up, which I'm really excited for. This is my first wrap up of 2021, and that is because this is the first month where I've read more than one book. All of the other months, pretty much this year, the only book that I've read was our book club pick. So I finally read more than one book in August, and I'm really excited. I pretty much kept to my TBR apart from one book. I gave myself a pretty easy, I'm sorry, you're gonna hear the baby playing. I gave myself a pretty easy TBR for August. I just wanted to have fun and read and just kind of, I didn't want to give myself anything too big, and I stuck pretty much with it. I finished 2 books and I got halfway through another 2. As I mentioned, the only book I didn't get to was Anyway the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell, which is the 3rd book in the Simon Snow Carry On series. And I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. I love Carry On, it's one of my favorite books, but I wasn't too fond of Wayward Son, so I'm just kind of iffy on the 3rd one. I do want to read it, I'm just waiting. But the first book that I read in August, which honestly I should have read for July because it was our book club pick, The Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. We did have our live show and Hannah and I really enjoyed it. We had a really good discussion. I also have a reading blog where I talk a lot about this book and kind of all of my thoughts and spoilers. That's in our live show as well. But I ended up really enjoying it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think this is the highest rated book so far for 2021. For our book club picks. I don't know, I haven't really been overly impressed with the books that we've read so far this year, but this one I really enjoyed. It was very atmospheric, I loved the pacing, very unique. I hadn't read anything like this before. It is a retelling with Greek mythology, which I really enjoyed. It's very woman empowered, and it also has person of color, and there's also some LGBTQ plus representation. This is a very diverse book, and I really enjoyed that. Plus the concept is so cool. Our main character, she is able to manipulate plants. She can make them grow, she can make them wither. It's really cool. So I highly recommend picking this one up. It is YA. It reads very quickly. I think I binged it in like 2 days, and all in all, really enjoyed it. The next book that I read, and I actually listened to the audiobook, was Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the 2nd book in the Illuminae files. I have raved about the Illuminae files for years on my channel. It is so good. Sci-fi, action, just, it's so freaking cool. I love this book, and it's written in really unique concept. It's like a dossier. There's emails, messages, video footages, just really cool stuff, schematics, pictures, super cool. And the audiobook is read with a full cast of characters and music, sound effects. It's very atmospheric. You get immersed into the story, and it's just so good. I also started Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Ellen. This was given to me by Hannah, and it has all of her thoughts and annotations in here. Let me see if I can find a page where she highlights and she writes in it. And so I've been meaning to get to this book for maybe years now. It's been a while since I've been meaning to get to this book. So I finally did. And I am more than halfway through. I think I'm on like almost close to page 200. I actually lost my spot. And there's 290 pages in this book. I ended up having to put it down because I had to focus on the next book that I'm going to talk about, but I am adoring this book. Oh my gosh, I binged like the first 150 pages in one day. It is so good. It really reminds me a lot of Nora Roberts' writing, which is one of my favorite authors. It's It's so whimsical, and you can really see the setting that she writes, and the characters are so well developed. The plot itself is really cool. It is adult with a bit of romance and some magical realism. It's phenomenal. I'm loving it. Not even done with it yet, and already I know this is gonna be a 5 out of 5 stars, and I definitely want to read the second one. Hannah said there is a sequel, so I definitely want to get to that one. And finally, the last book that I started in August, I haven't finished it yet, but I am more than halfway through, is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This is our book club pick for August. This is kind of like a YA thriller, mystery. It's got some psychological elements to it. Talks about mental illness. To be honest, I wasn't enjoying the first third of it, but Hannah kept telling me to kind of push through, and it's a mystery, so it has to set up the scene, and so it was a little slow at first. The first 100 or so pages took me a little while. I just wasn't really connecting to the story, but now that I am more than halfway there, I am starting to get more immersed into the plot and into this world, and I'm very, very intrigued. Hannah said that the ending or the story just goes crazy. It goes into a way that you would never expect, into a direction you would never expect. So I'm really intrigued. I've got a lot of thoughts. I feel like it's going to be a really good live show, a really good discussion, because there's a lot to discuss on this one. It's more psychological, and if you think about it, there's not as much action so far. It's really just that mystery and that psychological element. So that is it for my August wrap up. I'm really excited that I read so much in August, and September is going to be a lot of fun because we are finally reading a book that we have been anticipating for such a long time, and that is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Cannot wait to start that one. We will be reading the first 400 pages in September for our book club, and then have a live show, and then we're going to be reading the last 400 pages in October. We decided to split it up because it is quite a chunky book. Anyways, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!